In this video, we're going to prepare an as-built floor plan for a dining room addition using the Room Planner app by Chief Architect. During the project, we're going to be creating rooms, doors, and openings and measuring them using a Bluetooth laser synced with the app. After we've completed the as-built floor plan, we're going to quickly mock up a preliminary 3D rendering of what the new addition could potentially look like, which will generate some excitement with the homeowners. We will then save the plan and export it to the cloud, and then import it into Chief Architect desktop software, where we can continue adding more detail to the design, create 3D renderings to help sell the job, and create layouts for permitting. So let's get started. So here I am in the app. In the bottom left-hand corner, you will notice that I am on the Plans panel, where I can start a new plan, view sample plans, view saved plans, and view plans that have been shared with me. I've already got a new plan started, and before we do any work, I want to save it and give it a new name. So I'm going to tap on Saved Plans, tap on the plan, and I'll get a few more options available for this plan to save it, rename it, make a copy of it, or save it to the cloud. For now, we're just going to rename it, so I'm going to tap on the second icon from the list and give it a new name. Next, I'm ready to add a room to the plan. To add a room, I'm going to tap on the Edit panel in the bottom of the screen, and on this panel I can add a square-shaped room, a T-shaped room, an L-shaped room, or use a Sketch Room tool to draw a new room. I'm going to tap on the square-shaped room to add the room to the plan and select the checkbox in the bottom dock. Next, I'm going to close the sidebar on the left-hand side of the screen, and you can do that by swiping off the screen with your finger or by tapping the circular button with the arrow in it in the top left-hand corner. Next, let's get into a 3D view. In the bottom dock, we can enter the room view or full overview 3D rendering modes. Let's go ahead and enter the full overview. I can navigate around this view by putting one finger on the screen and moving it around, and I can zoom in or out of the view by placing two fingers on the screen and expanding or contracting them. Let's go ahead and switch back from our floor plan and designate this room as a kitchen. So I'm going to tap on the floor plan button in the bottom dock, and then tap anywhere in the room, and you will notice that it will highlight in blue. In the bottom toolbar, we can open up the room specification to get more information about this room. Here I'm going to give the room a new name, so I'm just going to select the name and type in kitchen. And then we can also adjust the wall width for all walls in this room, specify the ceiling height, and specify whether we want it to be included in the living area for our room schedule. Let's go ahead and close out of this and then select on a wall and look at some of the settings we have available to us within a wall. So I'm going to select on the wall, and in the bottom dock you'll notice that I have the wall specification option available. So I'm just going to click on it once, and here I can specify whether I want this wall to be visible or not, or change this individual wall's width. We aren't going to make any changes to this wall, so let's just cancel out of this. Next, let's go through the different ways to dimension the plan. There are three ways you can dimension rooms in the plan. The first is with this wall selected, you will notice that I have some blue dimensions going across the room. These dimensions are dynamic dimensions, meaning that if I move this wall that I still have selected, these dimensions will change. I can move this wall by tapping and holding the orange move handle towards the right hand side of the screen, thus changing the room size. The second way you can change the size of your room is with this wall selected and our blue dynamic dimensions still available. I can just tap on one of these blue dynamic dimensions and enter a new dimension. And the third way to dimension a room is by syncing a Bluetooth laser to the app and having the value from the laser automatically update the room size. The first step in doing this is we need to sync a Bluetooth laser with the app. To do this, I'm going to open up the sidebar and go to this settings panel. And towards the bottom of the settings panel, you'll notice an option for Bluetooth measuring devices. When I tap on this, I can see the Bluetooth lasers that Room Planner is picking up. You can see that my laser is currently not connected, so I'm just going to tap on Not Connected to connect the laser. There are certain models of lasers that Room Planner is compatible with, and more information about compatible lasers is available on chiefarchitect.com. With my laser now connected, I'm going to go back to the floor plan and tap on that blue dimension that currently reads 20 feet. This will open the window where I can manually input a measurement, but instead of typing in measurement, I'm going to place the back of the laser up against the wall and let the laser read to the wall on the other side, and when ready, select Enter on my laser, and Room Planner will automatically update the measurement. So now, by moving the wall on the right-hand side, we have the length of the room horizontally updated from the left wall to the right wall. So now let's update the size of this room vertically from the front wall to the back wall. So I'm going to tap on the wall that we want to move, tap on the blue dimension, place the back of the laser up against the wall, let the laser read to the wall on the other side, and when ready, hit enter on the laser, and you can see how this room size was updated. Next, let's add the pantry into the corner of this room. So I'm going to refocus our view on the corner of this room, and then to add the pantry, I'm going to use the Sketch Room tool. This tool is available by opening up the sidebar and going to the Edit panel and using the Sketch Room tool. You'll notice in the photo of the completed floor plan that this pantry has an angled wall. We're going to start out by drawing a square-shaped room and dimensioning the inside of the room, and then come back and add the angled wall and dimension from the angled wall to the inside of the pantry. So with the Sketch Room tool selected, I'm just going to draw in the shape of our room. Next, I'm going to select towards the inner side of one of these walls, and you will notice I get some dimensions for the inside of this room. I'm going to once again select one of our blue dimensions and then place the laser up against the wall to capture the measurement, and then repeat this process for the second wall. With these two walls in place, I am now going to add the angled wall. So I'm going to select the Sketch Room tool and just click and drag an angled wall through this room. You will notice that what we did there is create a third small room. So we're going to merge this small room with our kitchen space. To do this, I'm going to select on the kitchen space, and in the bottom dock, tap the Merge Room button, tap on the small room, and then tap the check mark on the bottom of the screen. With that small room gone and our angled wall starting to form, I'm now ready to redimension this room. What we are going to be doing here is measuring the length of the small vertical and small horizontal walls that form the pantry by selecting the angled wall and moving its location relative from the long horizontal wall on the right hand side of the screen. So I'm going to select the angled wall, and notice I get a measurement in blue that reads 1 feet 8 inches, and I'm going to select this measurement and place my laser on the point where the angled wall meets this small sidewall, letting my laser read to the wall on the far right hand side. Next, I'm going to press enter on my laser, and the angled wall's position has been updated, and the small side wall currently reads 2 feet 1.5 inches. And because we moved that angled wall, the vertical wall on the other side has been updated, and you could confirm that measurement with the laser if desired. Next, let's rename this room. So I'm going to tap on this room and tap on the room specification in the bottom dock, and then just give our room a new name. Let's go ahead and take a 3D view, and you can see how our plan's starting to come together. And next, let's add a doorway, window, and a pantry door, redimension the sizes of these, and then redimension their position within the walls. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to my floor plan view, open the sidebar on the left hand side of the screen, and tap on the library panel, and then go to our architectural objects, and then doors, and then find our doorway, and then with one finger just click and drag it into the desired wall. If I tap once on the doorway, you will notice that I get blue dimensions. And just like with walls, there are a few ways you can redimension openings. First, I can just drag the arrows on either side of the doorway to change the size of this doorway. I can also use the Bluetooth laser to capture the size of this doorway. So I'm going to tap on the blue dimension, place the laser in the doorway, and when ready, hit enter on the laser and get our new measurement. I'm going to take a similar approach for positioning this door within the wall. Notice that I get a blue measurement going from the wall on the left hand side to the edge of the doorway opening. I'm going to be positioning my laser so at the back the laser is even with the doorway opening, and letting the laser read the measurement from where the opening starts to the wall on the left hand side. With the back of my laser against the doorway opening, I'm going to tap on the measurement, which currently reads about 2 feet 5 inches, and let the laser read the distance to the wall on the left hand side, and when ready press enter, and that doorway's position has now been updated. We are going to repeat this process for the window. We're going to be placing the window into the top wall from the core library, And then I'm going to zoom in close, and you can see that the window size is currently 2.5 feet, and I'm going to place my laser in the window opening, let it read the measurement, and press enter on my laser to update the window size. Similarly, we're going to position this window within the wall how we did the doorway. I'm going to make sure that the back of my laser is flush with the window opening and let it read the measurement to the wall on the left hand side, and when ready hit enter on the laser, and you can see how our window's position in the wall has been updated. Next, we need to add a door for this pantry, so I'm going to open up the sidebar, go to our architectural objects, and then select an interior door, and as I drag it over the angled wall, notice that I cannot place it in the angled wall because the door is too big for the wall. So I'm going to place it in this wall on the right hand side temporarily, and we're going to capture the measurement for the size of this door and then move the door into the angled wall. So with the door in its temporary location, I'm going to select the dimension that currently reads 2 feet 7 inches. Place my Bluetooth laser in the door opening to capture the size of the door, and with the door at its actual size, move it from its temporary location into the angled wall. And then the last thing I want to do here is center the door in the wall, so I'm going to select the wall, and notice in the bottom dock I have an icon that looks like 2 arrows pointing towards each other. This will evenly space all objects in this wall, so I'm going to tap that button, and with the door being the only object in the wall, we know that it's centered in this wall. And with this door still selected, we can change the swing side by pressing the swing side button in the bottom dock. Next, let's take a 3D view. We can see how we've added those openings to the plan, and it is nearly complete. Next, I want to add a text annotation for the casing size. So I'm going to go back to the floor plan view, select the edit panel, and then under new annotation, select a text annotation and add it to the plan. With the sidebar open, we could also add arrows, manual dimensions, or cameras if we wanted to, and we could also see a room schedule or share a screenshot of our plan as well. But I'm just going to tap on our text annotation, drag it into my desired location, and then open up the specification and type in my text for this note. Once the text is typed in, if I wanted to, I could change the text color, the background color, text size, or alignment, but this text is fine just the way it is, so I'm going to press accept and then readjust its position in the plan. Next, while still on the job site, I want to show the homeowner a quick mock-up of what the dining room addition could potentially look like. First, I'm going to make a copy of our as-built plan so that we have our original plan for importing into Chief Architect desktop software, and then a copy of the plan with the proposed addition. So I'm going to go to the Plans panel, tap Copy, and give this plan a new name so that we have 2 different plans. Next, I'm going to repeat the steps I just took of adding rooms, doors, windows to add the proposed dining room addition. Now that the dining room has been added, let's take a look at the design in a 3D view. And I'm going to use the 3D overview button in the bottom dock, and in our 3D view you can see how the design is starting to come together. Let's change the current flooring material that is in use to something that is a bit more appealing. So I'm going to open up the sidebar and select the materials panel, and I'm going to be replacing the current wood material with the honey birch material. With the honey birch material selected, towards the top you'll notice that we have different distribution modes to apply this material throughout the design, similar to how the Material Painter tool in Chief Architect desktop software works. I'm going to change our distribution mode to be plan wide and then double tap on the current flooring material in our design, and every instance of the old flooring material has now been updated with the new flooring material. Next, we can add a table to this room. So in the sidebar, I'm going to go back to the library panel and add a table from our core libraries, and then jump back to the floor plan view temporarily to rotate the table and move it into position. Going back to our 3D view, let's next transition into our 3D room view, which is a first-person point of view. So I'm going to tap on the room view button in the bottom dock, and you will notice that on either side of the screen I have joysticks that I can use to move and rotate my view in the design. You will also notice little buttons over the joysticks. These buttons are the sojourn controls, which we can use to more personally interact with the design. The first button over the joystick on the right hand side is the camera gyro, which allows us to look around the model by physically moving and turning with our mobile device. The second button over the joystick on the left-hand side is the walk-through model feature, which allows us to physically walk with our tablet, and we will physically move throughout the model. The second button over the joystick on the right is the background camera, which uses the actual camera on our device to insert our surroundings as a backdrop in the model, which allows you to see what looking out actual doors and windows will look like. Now that we've shown the homeowner what the potential dining room addition could look like and generated some excitement about the project, we are ready to save the plan up to the cloud and import it into Chief Architect desktop software. To save the plan up to the cloud, I'm going to open up the sidebar and go to the Plans panel, and notice that with the plan selected, the fourth icon looks like a little cloud icon with a plus sign in it. Tapping this button will save the plan up to your Chief Architect Cloud account under the online credentials that you have on our website to access your software download and product key. To log into your account in the app, you can go to the Settings panel and tap Cloud, and then enter your Chief Architect account credentials. I'm already logged into my account, so I'm going to tap on the Plan panel, tap the plan I want to export, tap the Cloud button, and export it to my cloud account. And once I've done that, you will notice a green cloud with a check mark indicating that it is successfully exported to my cloud account. So next, let's transition over to Chief Architect desktop software and import that room planner file. Now that we've exported that room planner file to our Chief Architect Cloud account, I'm ready to import that room planner file into Chief Architect desktop software. I'm using Chief Architect Premiere, but you can import that room planner file into any one of our Home Designer or Chief Architect software programs. And if you need help choosing a program or deciding which program is best for your project, feel free to contact Chief Architect Sales. To import that room planner file, we're going to go over to File, Import, Import Room Planner File. Next, you'll need to enter in that same Chief Architect Cloud account credentials. Once you've entered in your credentials, you'll see your plans that are saved up to your cloud account, and you can simply select it and then click OK. And you can see how that room planner files come in exactly as we left it off in the app, and we can take a 3D view by going up to our camera tools and then selecting a 3D camera tool, and I'm going to be selecting the perspective floor overview. And then just using our mouse orbit camera feature, I can orbit around and take a look at this 3D model that we've imported. And that's going to conclude this video. To summarize what we covered in this video, we went out to the job site with the Room Planner app on our mobile device and synced the app with a Bluetooth laser to capture the measurements of rooms, walls, doors, and windows. After all the measurements were captured, we then made a copy of the plan and in front of the homeowner quickly mocked up what the completed project could potentially look like. Next, using the Sojourn navigation features, we then showed the homeowner what walking through the new room will actually feel like and what looking out the windows in the new room could look like, which got the homeowner excited about the project. Lastly, we saved the original copy of the plan to our Chief Architect Cloud account and then transitioned over to our Chief Architect desktop program, where we could now complete the design, take photorealistic 3D renderings to help sell the job, and create layout sheets for permitting. More information about the Room Planner app is available through the help documentation or the other resources at chiefarchitect.com.